Yeah, no ammo.
Okay. Yeah, then. Come on, let's go.
Oh. Okay.
What? You wouldn't believe all the rumors and everything else going on with these drones.
Well, I mean, that Congress came out there and was saying, high intelligence saying it's a frickin' drone mother boat out there that Iran is running from, that they purchased from China.
Yeah, well,
this is a U.S.
It's all
guy
wrong.
on some.
It's a foreign nation, but it's wrong. That particular story is not correct.
Well,
they're on the right track. They're on the right track for something, but that's not.
That's not what you guys think?
That's
so
not,
why
that's
the fuck is it still working? Why is that thing afloat?
That's not what we think. It's what we know. Because there's other stuff.
Why is it still floating?
Because, how do I put this?
It's an act of war.
Right, correct. We are fully aware of that. But if you know that you've got, how would we do this? Let's say somebody, you're playing a war game on the computer and you send out 10 scouts teams to check out your enemy and all that kind of stuff. Or let's say you're defending a position and they send out 10 scout teams to check out your position and you capture one of those scout teams. Is that all you're going to do? Or are you going to use that intel before anybody finds out to maybe find the other 9? And then do what you got to do. In the meantime, you're going to send out maybe one of your submarines.
What you're alluding to is this is one of 10 potential motherships around our entire coast, not just off the East Coast. Or you suspect that there's others, and so we want to.
Well, there's no suspecting, but I'm not going to get into numbers and stuff. But suffice it to say, any kind of special forces team needs support.
Okay.
And what's the quickest way to deliver that support outside of sending combat aircraft over in country and dropping parachutes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's more to this and more going on than anybody has any idea.
Okay. Fucking kill them. Hurry up and kill them all, goddammit.
Well, we got to make sure we're in an advantageous position if it comes to that. You heard about Trump inviting Xi to his inauguration, right?
Oh, did he?
Yep.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yep. And of course, Secret Service and everybody else is going freaking bonkers, but we're looking at it as it's going to be very telling, the decision that they make, the Chinese.
Oh, if Xi, if he actually comes, if Xi comes.
Yep.
Yeah. He ain't gonna come.
We're putting it at 50-50 right now.
Yeah. All right.
That'll change as things develop, but.
Well, yeah. If it's China behind all these drones, that could change dramatically.
Yep. Or it could be a way to try and deflect.
Yeah. I mean, is there any talk? Is Biden giving it cover? Is Biden fully aware? Is he fucking checked out? What the fuck?
He's checked out.
So is it just the Pentagon and DOD running their own fucking cowboy?
No, we can't do anything without civilian oversight. The military can't touch shit without oversight.
Okay.
And there are,
who is that?
Right now it'd be Department of Defense, civilians, that kind of thing. They still have to get approval president.
If it's Lloyd Austin, we're in fucking trouble.
Yeah, well, I agree. But there is still oversight by Congress and some other stuff, and we're not. Let's just put it: we're not uncovered, but we are. How do I want to say it? We're not ready for war. That's for damn sure. If they attacked us, if they open attack based on all the stuff that's going, that's what we're worried about. We can't stop it.
Don't worry.
To stop it.
Rednecks will take over.
Yeah. Even rednecks
Fucking
have
serious.
Even rednecks have a hard time running from drones.
We got some creative ass fucking rednecks.
True. Well, yeah, I'm not saying that we won't succeed. I'm just saying that we'll probably get our asses handed to us at least for a while.
I know some guys who are pretty fucking good shots.
But if worse came to worse, if I were the president and we were in this, I took over the situation that Biden's leaving behind, and the day after inauguration we got hit, and I mean hit hard. You've heard some of the scenarios we talked about. But
it would behoove him to hit before the transfer of power to Trump.
True, depending. But let's say they did, and I were Trump, and we got wind that there were transport ships trying to offload equipment. The first thing that I would do is order a ICBM strike on our own land of EMPs. While it would take down anything left of us grid-wise, it would stop them cold until our Navy could get involved. That's what I'd do.
Yeah.
Even hardened military gear can't withstand a direct strike from a EMP-designed warhead. I mean, it's they're too damn powerful these days. But we'll have to see. Been noticing.
You guys drop an EMP, and then you guys finally get there fucking whenever, and you're gonna show up, and there's gonna be a bunch of fucking rednecks, empty beer cans, and you're like, what the fucking show's over, boys?
Yeah.
You're late.
I wish it'd be that simple. It would be nice. It would be nice.
There'll be a line of fucking pickup trucks.
Right. But our plan of action, if it would happen, the first thing that we have to do, or we're going to lose right away, we have to get the Navy involved. And the way that we got to get the Navy on our borders and pushing, because if we can't get that to happen, we're screwed. It doesn't matter how many rednecks we got in the country. They've got 2 million boots.
We got at least fucking 80 million of them, and they're all fucking armed to the teeth.
But the problem is China's got 14 million of them.
Okay, but they gotta get here and get resupplied regularly.
Yeah. Well, I think that, remember I've been telling you about all the ships
They
they've
are
been building?
I'm sorry. They're 80 million. Conservatively.
Yeah.
Right?
But they've got 1.6 billion.
Not in their military.
No, in their military they've got 14 million to start with, and they've got probably another 40 million in reserve that are military based.
Okay.
You know, but
are they going to leave themselves that open?
No, but I'm not saying we're going to get walked on. What I'm saying is, when you've heard me say this before, quantity has a quality all of its own, regardless what your level is.
And we're the ones with the quantity, not the quality in this scenario.
No, we're the ones with the quality. China
in the military. I'm talking about the 80 million rednecks, of which I'm proud.
Right, but the problem is that 80 million is spread out across the entire country, okay? And if let's say a country like China would put, 5 million on the West Coast and 5 million in Mexico, there's no freaking way we have enough in an organized fashion to stop something like that initially. It's just impossible. We don't have the organization. We don't have the supply lines. We don't have any of that. And I mean, we're talking everything from food and clothing to ammo itself, the parts for weapons, and command leadership. We will never give up, and we'll never stop fighting. That's a give me. The problem we run into, and that's what's got to happen initially, is we have to stop them before they can offload that many troops. Because if they offload that many troops, we're in trouble. And I'm not being negative.
I know.
That's why we have to do something to buy time to get our Navy back from wherever it is, so that they can blockade our own borders, to buy us enough time.
Send the goddamn Navy to China.
The Chinese Navy's 3 times our size now. We don't have manpower or the ships, thanks to Biden, to even take them on head to head.
Well, we had it before Biden, to be honest.
Yeah, we did. But Biden has decommissioned over half of our guided missile cruisers, which include our ballistic missile, anti-CBM systems. He took away all the tanks from the U.S. Marine Corps. If you wanted to give tanks back to the U.S. Marine Corps, it's going to take a year, at minimum. The Marines have not a single tank in their regiments anymore. Not one. And a lot of the public's not aware of that. There is 0 tanks.
Well, I know aren't they transitioning to that new amphibious fucking...
It's not ready yet. It's still in testing. They still got all the old amphibious units that they've had, but the new one's not out there yet. Even the new M10 Booker tank, light tank, isn't done yet. It's out in small quantities for training and testing, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be for operational stuff. I mean, that's why I said, if something would happen, our first mandate has to be to blockade our own country until we can get help, one way or the other. And we got to buy ourselves time, because if we can't buy ourselves time, we're going to be in a guerrilla war for decades, and it's going to devastate everybody, everything. And that's what I'm worried about. And I personally believe, if it came to something like that, I personally believe China would have no qualms using biological weapons or other type of weapons on our soil. I really don't.
Yeah. Then the nukes will fly.
Yeah, if we still have control of them.
Don't worry, we'll keep control of F.E. Warren.
Of what?
F.E. Warren.
F.E. Warren.
F.E. Warren Base in Wyoming.
What's F.E. Warren Base in Wyoming?
F.E. Warren is a missile base. Air Force ballistic missile base.
Is that a new named one?
Huh?
Is that a new named base?
That's an old name. It's been named that since the 80s.
Is it an actual cluster? Or is it, because it's not the command and control base for nuclear missiles.
No, it's not the command and control base. No.
Yeah. That's why I'm not familiar with the name, because
Silo.
I'm like, huh?
It's a silo. It's
oh,
a
okay.
silo.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a cluster. Okay.
Yeah.
F.E. Warren is probably one of the command
and there's
clusters.
enough command and control in Colorado to, unless, well, they'll have to take out Colorado.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's our checks and balances for those type of weapons is so freaking involved. It's not even funny. And in my opinion, there's too many. What's the word I want to use? Too many fail points if things came down to that level.
Yeah.
Because without a president or somebody acting as president, they can't be even fired or turned on or anything. The checks and balances.
We have constitutional contingencies for that.
Well, no, we have continuity of government contingencies. We don't have constitutional because there was no such thing back then. But
We got to change.
Yeah, we've got a chain of command. The problem is, under continuity of government, if you don't know where anybody is, who's still alive and who's not, you end up with people fighting over, well, I'm the president then, or well, I'm the president then, well, no, I'm the president.
You also got state governments, National Guard.
Exactly. And not only that, what our government has done, and some of us have been screaming about this for years, under the NDAA, there is a shadow government that is part of the continuity of government that is not constitutional at all. It's just people that have been appointed to a position that it's like a second government. So if the Washington, D.C. were wiped out, they would take control and command. They were never voted in. They were never... It's unbelievable what our government has done. We actually have a shadow government that is on the side, specifically for this kind of scenario. If the main government is decapitated, these people that have been appointed step up and become the de facto government, or so they think. That alone will just cause a civil war, because I sure as hell won't listen to them.
Okay. Yep. As long as they adhere to the Constitution.
They do. Just say again.
And they understand that they are, you figure it out as soon as you can.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? I mean, you fucking elect a new leader as soon as you can.
Yeah, but how does the public know all this? That's the problem that we run into.
You better fucking tell them. That's what.
How? But that's my point. How?
Well, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I guess it'll be fucking crazy for a little while, but state governments will still be there, okay?
Yep.
And they will be intact. So, federal government's dead. States, we still can talk to each other in some way.
Well,
okay,
maybe.
so we'll figure it out. If we gotta fucking go back to the telegraph, we can do that. Okay.
Right. But I'm just trying to make the point that we have a problem and nobody's listening. And I wish it were that cut and dry. I really do.
Well, you guys are getting little bees in your hats, so don't get ahead of the game here. I know you guys are all fucking. You're all freaking. So. Well, yeah.
That's not
shit
personal.
You can do about it.
Well, there is if people would listen. If people would wake up. I mean, they finally woke up and listened for this election, but there's a whole hell of a lot more going on that they need to freaking wake up about. And
that's right. I bought all kinds of powder, primer, ammo. I've been stocking to the gills.
Yeah.
Biden got in office. It's been like the hardest part was finding the shit, right?
Yeah.
But I know you go, well, what the fuck? What's 5,000 rounds gonna do? It ain't gonna be shit in the long run, I suppose.
Actually will, because you're not one of the idiots that thinks he's gonna stand his ground and nobody's ever gonna do it. You're gonna take that and you're gonna use it in the right way at the right time. And
and I got a good neighbor who's armed to the teeth. He's got a fucking arsenal and ammo.
Yep, I do too. I got a couple of them. But I just hope that things don't go the way. That's what makes what I do really hard. Because I have to come
see.
up with this.
Well, fucking figure it out, fellas.
That's what we're trying to do. That's why I do what I do. That's what we're trying to do. And actually bouncing some of this off you has actually helped. It's made me think of other perspectives.
Honestly, the states, governments need to be advised ASAP of, hey guys, contingency plan. If you guys all need to fucking act independently to defend your states,
Well, they
right,
already
or
have that
retreat,
authority. Yeah, they already have
then
that authority.
of course they have the authority, but do they have the actual brains and, you know, do they got an action plan, right? If this, do this, right?
But here's the problem.
Because there's a lot of Democrats. Like in my state, I'm not sure my guy is going to fucking know what to do other than scream and run.
That's not the problem. The problem is, and it basically, believe it or not, it does come down to Democrats versus Republicans. The problem is, as we play as we war game this kind of stuff
right,
out,
they may fold and surrender.
That, or more likely, it will balkanize.
I hope so, right? I would think this would bring the country together.
No, balkanize means the country is split apart into factions.
Oh, vulcanize?
Balkanize. The Balkans. B-A-L-K-A-N?
Balkanize. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said vulcanize, like
No,
the rubber.
balkanize. B is a boy. Balkanize.
Like you merge, you melt the rubber together.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking more.
Balkanize.
Yeah, like, you know, in the Balkan War, the Balkans.
Yeah. You know what?
You'd have
I
the
don't-
South and
I
Texas all
don't-
together.
I honestly don't think that would happen.
We do. We think there's too much political.
I think you'll have a bunch of cowards. I don't think you've got enough of the hardcore fucking Antifa communist types. Because if I run into them, I'll just execute the motherfuckers.
Yeah,
So-
but it'd be more like, for example, the NDAA, the government says, gives them authority to declare martial law, right? Under national duress. No, it doesn't. Not in the least. They also say that it gives them authorization to suspend the Constitution. Not at all. Not in any fashion does it do that. And what the hell? Oh, that's because that twisted it around. Okay. The Constitution does not authorize any of that shit. So what would happen is, let's say it was still Democrats in control of Washington, they declared martial law, all the Democrat states are going to go with Washington, whereas Texas and Wisconsin and other states, we're all going to group up with other like-minded states, balkanize. And you're going to have California, Colorado, probably Oregon and Washington all getting together.
Yeah.
You know.
Gotta remember, California thinks, right, thinks that they're in control of that state.
Well, yeah.
You know how many fucking hardcore conservatives, Republicans are in California?
Yeah. There's a whole lot of them, but they don't
About
act
20
it.
fucking million of them.
Right. The problem is they don't act it. That's why their state's in so much fucking trouble.
They do, but you know, granted, there's 45 million people in California, right? They got outvoted, but the concentration is in 3 fucking cities, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking San Diego. Actually, San Diego's probably more Republican just because of the military, but L.A., San Francisco, Sacramento, you know,
Yeah.
that's all, you know, those cities. The rest of the state is red as they come.
Right. But it comes down to, like you said, are they going to have the balls to stand up against the National Guard? Because the National Guard will probably side with the state government to start with, at least. You know, that kind of shit.
That's the problem a lot of these Democrat states have. The National Guard is manned by a bunch of fucking conservatives because the Democrats by number just don't want to serve in that way, generally
Right.
speaking. There are some, but I think it's probably 70-30.
Yep. But I get a kick out of Democrats saying, well, the military has to obey orders, and they'll side with the government.
They have to obey the Constitution,
We
you
have to obey the
dumbass.
Constitution. Right. We don't take an oath. And I'll tell people, we don't take an oath to the president or the government.
No,
And
or
they're
the
like,
governor.
bullshit,
They
you
don't
do.
take
You
an oath
gotta,
for the governor either.
yeah. And they're like, bullshit, you gotta obey orders. And it's like, you better go freaking read, buddy. We take an oath to the U.S. Constitution. No, you don't. Yes, we do. And they're
they don't
beside
understand.
themselves when they find out that we don't even take an oath to the government. They can't believe it.
They don't understand. They just don't understand, right? So, you know, I think there might be a big fracas in the military for a little bit, but
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion
Well,
that'll get sorted out
you
pretty
just
quickly.
you just hit at the other problem that we see, and that is how many people think that the National Guard is the military, and it's not. Not at all.
It's state.
It's a
Well,
state
it's-
militia.
It's the state militia.
Correct. It is
Technically,
not
it's
U.S.
like the
it is-
state militia.
well, it's not U.S. military at all.
It's a state. Whatever state you're from, you're that militia.
Correct. But what I'm getting at is people keep saying that it's the U.S. active duty
You
military.
can call it the National Guard all you want, but under the Constitution, technically, you're militia.
Yeah, they can't. Well, they can call up the National Guard. The states can for whatever. The federal government can only call up the
Governor can
National
call
Guard.
up National Guard and whatever. If you got a forest fire and he needs assets and help, he can call the
Correct.
National Guard all day long.
Right, but the president, the active U.S. military like me, we can't call up the Guard unless it's a national emergency, time of war, national distress, that type of thing.
Well, this scenario would qualify.
Right, so we'd probably
If there's
federalize.
anybody there to give the order.
Right, and to do so, we have to do what's called federalize them.
Yeah.
The tough part is, even federalized though, the governor still has ultimate control.
Governor still has control. That's because the states are the primary government.
Correct, and because the
But
National Guard
the
is
government
not,
is created by the states, not the other way around.
and
The
because they're
states
only
can
we,
dissolve the federal government if they say choose.
right. It's the National Guard is there's some select unit National Guard that have embedded active duty U.S. military for the purpose of that their location is a strategic asset to our defense. So, for example, Truix Air Base in Madison is a National Guard Air Force base, but it is considered an active base for purposes of national defense, which is why it has F-35s. So it has both National Guard and active duty Air Force in it. And that base is controlled by DoD. And there's other bases like that across the country. But the majority of National Guard, all the gear and equipment they have, it's our like 20-year-old shit. It's all old stuff. It's not, none of it's our modern anything. Even the Guard units that have tanks and stuff have like 30, the tanks are like M1A1s, that kind of thing. The kind of stuff that we're sending to Ukraine. Now, if we went to war,
It
they'd
says
be
like
here.
20 to Ukraine.
Yeah, but there's another 130 going soon. They have to be
They need
reworked.
it. But
Huh?
I mean, there's probably fucking 2,000 of them sitting here in Colorado.
Yeah, but that's our ready reserve.
There's a shit ton of hardware in this state. Holy fuck.
Here too.
We got a lot of goddamn hardware.
Yep, so do we. So do we.
It wasn't that long ago. I mean, shit. They got a fuck ton of F4s and a bunch of other shit aircraft mothballed here.
Yep. Arizona does too.
Arizona's got a lot. Well, it's drier, but they got a bunch here.
Yep. Motham.
Yeah, it's dry here too, right?
Yep. The graveyard, the boneyard, is in Arizona. It's got the most.
Yeah, but no, this is in a much better storage condition than the boneyard in Arizona.
Well, it depends on which field you're talking about. Because we have approximately 4,000 tanks sealed up and stored in Arizona, to give you an idea.
Yeah, but those aren't the visible ones.
Yeah, the physical ones.
No, visible.
Oh, visible. No, they're not visible. Nope.
That's most ones in Colorado, they ain't visible either.
Yep. Yeah, the boneyard's visible to the public because those are aircraft that cannot fly anymore. They're used for parts and stuff like that. Anything that we still have as reserve is not visible, like you said. Or if it is on a visible field, it's wrapped in plastic. That sealed plastic covering. It's just like
they're like that boat shrink wrap shit.
Yep, that's exactly right. You have their engines pulled, all fuels drained, so a special grease coating is covered. They're covered in, and they're sealed up in that plastic. It's similar to Cosmoline for guns.
Yeah, correct. Right.
Wait a second, what am I doing? I don't want to go out that way, or I'll fly away.
And they also got a bunch up in Wyoming too.
We've got them all over the place, but
everywhere. You're right. Everywhere.
Well, it's funny because was in a discussion the other day about naval assets, and some guy came in and was making comment about how he and his group have been trying to get the government to let them have one of the Oliver Hazard Perry class frigates to use to take care of and use as a new museum, and it'd be like one of the first most modern warships allowed, and the Navy won't let them, and they're all upset about this and that and the other thing. It's like, well, they could use them as a target, and we'll never get the chance. Like, think about it. You're asking for the Perrys are out of service. True, they're all freaking, in decom status, parked on each other in a port, just sitting there. But the reason they're not going to give them to you is because they're ready reserve. They're not modernized enough to be in our current fleets, but they're modern enough that it would take very little effort to bring them up to standard. And being that they're a single screw frigate with decent weapons, but nothing major in terms of weapon systems, they'd be used for like convoy and coastal defense, along with the Coast Guard. And then you'd bring up like the mothball Burks and Tychos that Biden's been doing. They'd have to refurbish all those too now. It'd be, so we do have ships. The problem is they're just not available yet right now. And he couldn't fathom that idea that, well, they let this ship go, and it's like, yeah, that ship's 50 years old. What do you expect, It lived its life. It's gone. It's done. But a Perry class is 30 years old and much more modern than a boiler class ship. The Perrys are one of the classes that has jet engines for main engines, along with the Spruance. The Spruances they mainly use for target practice. So I don't think there's any of those even left yet. There might be, though. I'd have to look at the rules. But yeah, all that shit would have
Well,
to be...
if it ain't Iran, then it's fucking China for sure. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's my two guesses.
I agree. And one doesn't count.
I mean, I'm sure Russia's in there somewhere dicking around.
Not at this level. They got enough on their hands. But I will say this. I firmly believe they are all three working together.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So it doesn't really matter if they're actually here or know,
I
floating
guess
ships
the
around.
ultimate question is Europe gonna sit it out?
Oh, Europe's gonna fold like a cheap suit. Make no mistake on that.
Yeah, but will Great Britain?
Yeah, Great Britain won't, but
And I'm telling you right now, fucking Poland ain't gonna fold. They're gonna have to fucking flatten Poland.
yeah,
Those fuckers are not there. Nope.
Britain.
You're not gonna go down without a serious fight.
Yeah, go back to Britain for a second. Our current wargaming has Britain caving because of its government, but its military coming to the U.S. on its own. You follow me?
Right. So, well, yeah, I absolutely follow you. It's basically they would be government abroad is the idea.
Well, they would not behave. They would not be following their government's.
The government surrenders.
Right. They would be.
Then they're no longer the government, are they?
Right. But the thing is, if the government surrenders, you know, you're supposed to follow what your government says and surrender. We think the British naval fleet would say "fuck you" and come over here and request to be folded into our armed forces.
I think they would just be government in absentia.
Well, it'd be no, because the government would be still in England. They can't just say, "Okay, now we're the government," but the military would come here, and the fact that they've got 2 full aircraft carriers and a lot of subs, including nukes, that would be a boost.
And there's a bunch of war criminal fucking Canadians up there. Don't forget our little angry, insane top hat up there.
Yeah, you're talking about their governor of the state of Canada.
Right.
You heard, but Trump called him that, didn't you? You heard that, right?
Yes, it was hilarious. And then did you see the picture he fucking posted on?
No.
on fucking Truth Social?
What was it?
Well,
What was it?
he put this picture of him holding like in the like it was the Canadian flag or whatever overlooking Canada.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like holding the flag.
Oh,
It was fucking hilarious.
I didn't see that. That would be.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I think it'd actually be a good move for Canada. But they've got their national pride.
You know, so. What do they got? The population of California?
Yeah. I mean, they got their national pride, so.
All of Canada?
Yeah, that's the holdback, is that they've got their national pride, and you can't, you can't, you
can slice off the fucking coastal fucking provinces, because they're shit. They're as bad as California and fucking New York and all the other dumbasses. But the central part of Canada, they're solid.
Right, but what I was getting at is their national pride would be the obstacle to them becoming a state in the U.S., and it's understandable.
No, but they would probably fight.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. It's too bad that Canada's going that way. Mexico, we don't even need to talk about.
They're worse than us.
Well, yeah, they are worse because they're actually doing what we're fighting against here won't allow to happen. Like removal.
Yeah, well, they don't have a constitution either.
Correct.
So they got problems.
And that would be a big. That would be a big plus.
Selling point.
Selling point, yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, well, sick of having your rights taken away?
Yep. Freedom of speech.
Become
right to bear
the
arms.
51st state.
Yep. It would only benefit them. Period. Their military would become part of our military.
They know how to fight. They've got, it's not a big military, but they've got some,
Yeah, they've got our gear.
Yes. And a lot of our training.
Yep. So I wouldn't, if we told them right in.
And they've got the British fucking fortitude.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but.
Well, I mean, they haven't fucking folded. You know?
Oh yeah, in that sense, yeah, you're right. They're like us.
In fact, they're kind of brutal. Hence the whole reputation of their fucking war crimes. Okay.
Their whole reputation of war crimes.
Yeah, the Canadian military.
I haven't heard any of that.
That's a fucking running joke.
Oh.
That the Canadian military, you know, they don't fucking take prisoners. they've had issues, let's just say, where they just didn't bother.
I've never heard of that. I mean, they're all good guys. The ones that I've served with are all good.
Yes,
people,
this is in World War. This is from like World War I and World War II.
Oh,
okay, mostly World War I.
Yeah, my brain works modern, I guess. So
they were, well, you know, you don't lose those things, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Don't forget that shit.
Well, we've changed those since that shit. So there's no reason they can't have changed. Because some of the shit that we did in World War II,
you gotta hold on to the things that you can give your friends shit about. Okay.
Yeah, true. Oh, we do that already. We do that already.
That's why it's still a joke, because you can still give them shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck Canada, you goddamn war crimes. They're like, fuck you. It was World War I. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, what? You still say that, motherfuckers. Of course, the Germans could accuse us of war crimes because of the goddamn shotgun. I swear. They hated that thing.
I guess I'm trying to think of how to word it, because something like you described, though, is not something in a rivalry we would joke about just because of what it implies. Huh?
Okay. I don't know.
Right. It's to us, that would be like crossing a line. It'd be we give each other a hard time, and when they have like dumbasses that do stupid things like, no, you got to fire the gun the other way because the bullet comes out that side, you know, like that kind of shit. But when it comes to something like what you described, that would cross a line that we won't cross.
Hey,
and
you know, the French have their own, you know.
Oh, the French don't count.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't count. They're a bunch of nutcases.
Their battle cry is "We surrender."
Yeah, pretty much.
Those guys.
Yep, they don't count. Well, not only that, and their top military unit is the French Foreign Legion. Oh my God! And they worship a hand. I told you about that, right?
Yeah, the French Foreign Legion is just fuck.
They're mental in the head.
Yeah, well, if you're comprised of people who want to completely lose their old identity because for whatever reason, I'm a murderer, I'm a psycho, I'm a criminal, the list is pretty long. Yeah. There's probably that's an interesting force.
Yep. Well, I did. You know what I'm talking about with the hand, right? I told you about that.
I do not know the hand.
Oh, I'll have to dig it up and send
I
you.
do know that you basically become your old life, your old name, your old everything is gone.
Yep.
You don't exist. Yep. This is your new identity. Here you go.
I'll pull it up out of my archives and send you a link.
I mean, they fucking erase it.
Well, I'll pull it, once I gotta find it and pull up the link, and I'll post it in Discord when I find it.
Now, of course, you can't change a guy's fingerprints, right?
Right, but let me finish. I was inducted in the French Foreign Legion along with a dozen other U.S. military, and it was honorary, but outsiders are not allowed inside their, what do you want to call it? Their inner circle.
They are elitist. They're incredibly elitist.
But they're not.
They kind of have to be.
Right, but other people are not allowed inside the inner circle at all, even on the base. And
Well, that
now we know
seems
why.
reasonable for what they are.
Right. So I've got a picture of me and 11 other guys off one of the warships that was there. We were inducted in, and we found out they have a hand, a shriveled up, cut off the wrist hand that is sitting upright in a glass dome in the center of this round room, and there's crypts around this room as well. And they worship that hand like it's some kind of, I don't even know what to call it.
I'm guessing somebody early on in the French Foreign Legion founder-wise lost that hand somehow doing something.
Yeah, but their allegiance to that hand is weird.
Or is it what the hand symbolizes?
It's more than just what it symbolizes. That's what I'm getting at. It's
well, then they're crazier than I thought.
Yeah,
but I thought they were going to be crazy to begin with. So, when your rings are populated by a bunch of fucking psychos,
one
might do stuff like that.
Yeah, one of the things that we learned is morality is not in their book.
Oh no, of course not. Okay, I wouldn't trust them with my fucking kids.
Yep.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, neither would I. It's
yeah,
I equate them to the Russian
want to see the French Foreign Legion coming to liberate me.
Yeah, I equate the French Foreign Legion to the same level as the Russian Spetsnaz.
I was thinking like a highly skilled, crazy white man. But yeah, sure.
No, the Spetsnaz are good. They're not great, but they're good. And the Foreign Legion's about that level. The Foreign Legion does have some morals in the sense of they're the good guys. So they are better than the Russian Spetsnaz. They don't go out raping and pillaging.
They do. Well, it's a new beginning, and there is a sense of reform in the French Foreign Legion, from what I understand. Right?
Yeah, that's been going on for a couple decades.
Hence, that your old life is gone, right? And you're going to reward you in this new life, and you're supposed to be better, right?
Right.
Granted, but some people just don't change.
By the way, where are you at?
I'm no longer here. I left again. I couldn't get anything done because I was talking to you the whole fucking time. So
I thought you were heading for Pyro. We were going to maybe do some shit in Pyro.
No, and I got to go. I got to be in bed in like 10 minutes. So I'm done. Late. Fucking late.
Shit,
so thanks for, completely irritating me. Again,
you're welcome. You'll sleep on
all the wonderful news.
You'll sleep on it.
And
hey,
just
I've
remember,
been pretty good about
when I say the rednecks will take care of everything, you just say, yep, you're right.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Gotcha.
I like to be lied to about things like that.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I can lie to you all night long. You should see the big... We got these battleships that have big-ass 20-inch laser beams on them, and we've got bombers that have freaking plasma throwers that come out all around it. And
the problem is the drones are still here, so I need the drone solution. Yes, no problem. Hey, it's all good. Under control. It's a trap for setting a trap.
Exactly.
That's it.
Well, actually, we took control of the drones, uploaded some code, so then the bad guys take it back. When we need to, we just push it back.
The infection play. I love it.
Yeah.
I like that.
And the drones blow up.
There you go. That's all you had to say. I feel much better. Thank you.
There we go. I wouldn't put it past the realm of possibility
now
either.
I'm gonna have to go out, and I do have about 300 rounds I haven't loaded yet.
Yeah.
No, it's actually more than that. It's about 500. I was waiting until I landed on my right recipe.
Yeah.
For the 168 grain.
Yeah.
For my rifle, but maybe I'll just,
Yeah.
I'll look at some of my fucking targets and see if I can come up with what I think is the best one. without a full ladder run and just go with it.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Let's see how it all unfolds, I guess. Hope for the best, plan for the worst.
I saw that, there was a video on YouTube. Guy was talking about the, basically shotguns, right? For drone defense, but he's like, we used to use a much larger shotgun, right? 8 gauge, 6 gauge, right? Before the 12 gauge and the new, back when we had black powder, right?
Right.
Black powder days, you had much larger caliber, right? For shotguns. And that went for, you could throw a lot of fucking, you could throw a lot of fucking lead, right?
Yep.
And so he was kind of working off that Vietnam experiment they did with the shotgun. I believe that might have been 10 or 8 gauge, I can't remember, but it was a semi-auto shotgun they were experimenting with in Vietnam that had flechette load.
Yep.
But yeah, he's like, that larger shotguns, set up, turret set up, defense, and tracking, and just send a lot of shit up in the air,
Yep.
And with being flechette, right? And I think the size he was looking at, they looked like they were about a half-inch long flechettes, right? Tungsten, say, whatever. Flechette.
Yeah, the problem with shotguns, the problem that we've run into with shotguns is the distance. And when you're pointing them up, the distance is even worse. That's part of the problem. That's why most of our defenses,
modern powder and a larger caliber cartridge, 6 gauge.
Yeah, but it's still
you could pack a fucking punch.
Yeah, we use them, but the distance is still not enough. That's why most of our systems have transitioned to laser, because kinetic, we just can't. You can't use a kinetic impact on a drone at anything more than probably 1.5 miles is just about impossible. They just don't have the.
Well, a lot further than I was.
Yeah. No, we've got tech that can go out that far. It's still not.
But I mean, these small Lancet-sized drone attack shit on stuff. I mean, those guys are coming in. They're fucking. Obviously they ram it, right? So they're getting pretty fucking close, right? You can probably defend against those guys.
Yeah, it's a combination of stuff. So like the closer they get to you, then you go to more kinetic stuff, almost like a claymore type system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as they get in that close, you'll go to something that is, puts out ball bearings by the hundreds of thousands.
I've seen some of those photos of the Ukrainians and them they're making their own out of basically the Russian tech reactive armor and adapting them onto the fucking M1s.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was referring to. Something similar to that.
And
plus we also have the trophy systems.
Yeah, and they started doing that. They lost a few, those first couple engagements, they lost several ones, right? I think they've lost about 6 now of the, what was it? What did they get, 30?
Well, they haven't lost any. They've had them disabled.
Well, they've definitely lost a couple.
No, they haven't lost any. Literally
I thought
lost.
they lost at least 2.
No, they were
Way
disabled.
back. They've had disabled. They've had at least 6 disabled.
Yeah,
right?
they've had 6 disabled. They've still
Crews
got
all survived.
20.
The guys go is like, we didn't lose anybody. You know, we lost. I mean, the tank's disabled, but all the you know, I mean, it's not like a Russian tank where you lose that tank, you lose the crew,
Right.
unless they're really fast at jumping ship, right?
Right. No
But-
crews have been lost, and
One
tank
hilarious.
was captured in disabled state,
Yeah.
and the other ones have all been recovered. Some of them, the damage was too great to bother even trying to fix them now. But yeah, they haven't had any literally destroyed by weaponry, which is telling.
Well, they've been doing well.
And keep in mind,
They
that's the
definitely could
original.
use some more of them.
Right, and that's the original M1 Abrams that we haven't used for
That
40
is the
years.
original.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's pretty telling. It's pretty. You can only imagine what we have now that we use.
They're like blown away. They're like they're like, oh my god, this thing is like head and heels above the fucking, you know,
Yep.
T-72s and the other shit. They're like,
Yep.
it's unbelievable how the barrels. They're like the barrel stabilization is unbelievable. That's a really old one.
Well, that's why the one that was captured, it was destroyed, but not by the Russians.
Oh, by us.
Yeah.
They
Well, it was Ukraine that destroyed it with our expertise, I guess you could say.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't let anything like that fall into the wrong hands.
Yeah, they've got, you know, that fucking scariest drone they got is that fucking thermite drone.
Yeah. Yep. We got
Holy
them too.
mother of pearl.
Yeah, we've got armor-piercing thermite too.
Yeah, thermite's pretty nasty crap. I mean, it melts shit, right? That's how we destroyed those big-ass guns of the fucking Germans with thermite.
Yeah, and that was way back when. You can't imagine the stuff we have now. Our tanks and stuff actually have the.
Thermite's amazing fucking crap, right? I mean,
You know that it's our self-destruct for tanks and ships, aircraft. You knew that,
sure.
right?
Well, it's also I mean, you want to repair a fucking drive shaft in the middle of the ocean, thermite's your fucking girl.
Why would you, huh?
Thermite?
For
You
repairing
can
a
weld,
drive shaft?
absolutely.
We
How do you
use
think
plasma.
they weld all kinds of crap with thermite?
No, I didn't know that. I knew we used plasma.
Yeah.
We use a lot of
No,
plasma. I
thermite.
know that.
Yeah, thermite is amazing at field repairs.
Yeah,
How do you think the fucking railroads, they fucking weld rails together? That's how they do it, with thermite.
yeah, I
My
didn't
brother
know
worked
that.
on the railroad for a while, but yeah, it's a thermite weld for
Yeah.
all railroad,
Bear,
rails.
Bear, he's one of my good Navy buddies. One of my good Navy buddies. We call him Bear. He transitioned from torpedoman to CB, and he's always talking about plasma welding and shit like that. So I'd never heard of thermite welding.
The problem is, right, when you're welding, you only have so much penetration, but with thermite, you literally get a 100% all the way through weld, because it's the thermite, there's a big gap, right? With thermite, you might have an inch gap, right, between the two ends, and it's in this big clamp system, and then the thermite just goes in the fucking, it's like a mold, right, holding the pieces together. The thermite goes in and just welds the two pieces together perfectly, and then you pop the mold, grind it into, grind all the crap out, and done. It's a solid piece of metal. It's amazing. But they used it. That's how they would repair in the ocean. You're in the middle of the fucking Atlantic, and your drive shaft breaks. Thermite.
I've never heard of that.
Like your propeller shaft, you know?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just never, when I went through damage control training, I never ever heard of that.
Yeah.
It was always plasma and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Although, you know, that might actually be, there might be a reason for that. The number one damage control thing that we are serious about on warship is fire. And thermite, the whole bottom of a warship is aviation gas. Using thermite might not be a very smart idea.
Well, there's precautions. I mean, yeah.
Right, but if thermite gets away from you, we can't call it fire department. We are the fire department.
About thermite, right? I mean, it's incredibly stable, and so I mean, you gotta put the energy into it to set it off. Now, granted, once a pile of it starts up, there's no stopping it, right? There's no stopping a thermite reaction once it has been activated.
Right, it's just like
But
magnesium.
it's all about how much thermite you have, right? But you can dump it into a mold, right?
Right, it's just like magnesium. Once it starts, you're in trouble.
Right. Yeah, the mistake of building your fucking bombers out of fucking magnesium.
Yeah.
What a fucking bunch of morons. Hey, a phosphorus shell goes through here, it just lights the plane on fire.
Yeah.
The
Well,
metal.
the whole idea was they were trying to invent, well, that was before titanium, they were trying to invent something that
They
could,
wanted it lighter. Yeah,
Right.
I know. Yeah,
wow.
bad choice.
Yeah.
Bad choice.
Yep.
Not good. All right, man, damn it, you kept me up now. I gotta go. Good night.
All right. Night.
That was interesting back and forth.
Yeah. We do that every once in a while.
Yeah, he was like, you were getting on his nerves there for a second.
Oh, I do that every time. Every time we have that discussion. He wants to hear it, but he doesn't want to hear it. Well, you know, you can understand that too. I mean, he's still got kids and stuff at home, and they're all adults actually.
Well,
They're
yeah.
all late teens, but still, you know, fully understandable. But at the same token, he also wants to be aware of what's going on. And, you know, there's been times where he started talking about something that I knew was not actually true. And I tried explaining it in the best way I could without talking about stuff I can't talk about. And he'd get mad at me. And it's like, well, that's not what's going on. You know, it's like stuff like that. I mean, well, you heard, like, he started talking about that Iranian ship bought by China that's controlling the drones. You know?
Right.
Although, you know, that would probably be a good cover story for DoD to use, I guess, since people are believing it. A lot of people don't realize, though, some of those stories actually come from Department of Defense, or on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
They get you to believe one story so that the truth is still out there. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, spreading misinformation is one of the government's best weapons.
Yeah. PsyOps is we're really good at PsyOps. Not me. I'm not in that type of thing, but those that are in PsyOps, they, wow. Makes me wonder how many of those types have become Democrats, which is why the Democrats have gotten so good at it. doesn't look like there's much here. Except for a lot of ships people left behind. Which I wonder why. There's nothing else here. That keep changing. But yeah, so we have discussions every once in a while. It's it's a lot of fun too, because it actually gives me ideas for the wargaming stuff I do. The real wargaming stuff, I mean, not game.
Right.
Getting other options, opinions, stuff like that can be a good thing. Let's see. How many people? Oh, there's no wonder it's running so good. There's only freaking 97 people on my shard.
Are you on 4.0?
Yeah. That's kind of odd, being that we're wave 4 now. Which means just about everybody and his brother has access. Not quite everybody, but pretty close. Down to. Ooh. It is cold outside. I'm still working on the event.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. I got 2 more to do. And then phase 4 should be breeze. At least that's what Pego said. It's just basically running cargo.
Yeah. Seems like your internet connection's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Well, tonight it's been really good. You haven't
Surprisingly.
had any. Yeah, you've been clear and no breakup or garbled anything.
Maybe it has something to do with the weather.
Well, You dumbass thing. I am really getting tired of that bullshit. I'm just off the ground trying to use an MFD, and what happens? I hit those freaking tooltips again, and they turn my engines off.
Yeah, it's been doing that a lot lately, I noticed.
I got them back online at about 100 feet above the ground.
Close call.
Yeah. I like the changes to the HUD they made. Got a lot more control.